right, guys, live and direct. We are about to chop it up. But before we do, yo, Chris, how do you stay so energized all weekend doing your thing?
I just want to say, look it. This is what the sound of how I start my day. Did you guys hear that crunch? That's when we are about to be rock stars in this industry.
Let's party like some rock stars. Peace. Shout out to Rockstar for always supporting the Let's Chop It Up podcast. Let's go.
Shout out to Rockstar. Much love, guys. That's how we get our day started. Alrighty.
All right.
So, here we are. You want to start it off, brother?
Yo, this is episode 1 of the Let's Chop It Up food podcast. I'm Jason Aviles, and I definitely want to introduce my co-host, Chris. What's up, Chris, man? How's it going?
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's just Chef Chris Tzorin. Hey, let's chop it up, bro. This is going to be episode 1. I mean, we had to do it one more time for them, right?
We got to hit him up. We got to hit him hard, brother.
Okay, so here we talk about everything in the industry. So we have chefs, actually personal chefs, everything from pastry chefs, right?
Yes.
People that are in this industry, mixologists. We go with everything, and we just talk about their passion behind the food industry. And, you know, the things they go through, right or wrong, like the ups and downs. I mean, this isn't just cake. I mean, you're always learning something, right?
Definitely, man. I mean, for me, the vision, when we came together, Chris and I, we spoke about what we want this food podcast to be, how we want to get our information out to the audience. And for us, guys, we want to cover everything food and beverage in Orange County to start. We want to get deep into the restaurant industry, talking about the food, talking about the chefs, talking about the culture. I mean, how some of these chefs came up in the industry. You'd be amazed on the stories that you're going to hear as you follow the Let's Chop It Up food podcast.
You know, as a chef in this industry, doing from fine dining to street food, a lot of people will say that I inspire them, right? On my Instagram or whatnot. They see my feed and how do I do it, but they don't see the stuff I go through behind the scenes. And I've been following a lot of the chefs that we're interviewing, and I'm like, how do they get up in the morning and say, this is one more time? Or how do they start from where they're at now, like opening their locations or, you know, their drive behind it? Because, of course, they went through the OMGs, right?
Right. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. We all go through those crazy moments where, you know, an Ansel system blows, a fire on your food truck,
an engine problem,
engine problems. Yeah, past this past weekend. But you know, that's the ups and downs of the food service industry. And you know what? You gotta have passion when you're in the food service industry. And Chris, I've been watching you. I've been watching your Instagram. That's how I got inspired to work with you, because I really saw your passion on Instagram. I saw what you're doing with your chef private dinners. And I was definitely like, that is somebody who's working the industry from different angles. And that is definitely somebody that I want to partner up with. So, real quick, Chris, as we talk about the Let's Chop It Up food podcast, and we're going to talk to other chefs, and we're going to get deep into the industry with other people, I want to know what's your history. First of all, how did you start in the restaurant food service game? Let's chop it up.
All right. So my dad is a chef. So he started his career in Beverly Hills, and he started cooking out there. First, he was a valet parker. They needed cooks inside the restaurant. They asked my dad to come in and cook. He actually found the passion and love for it, became a chef, went to culinary school. They opened up a restaurant in Newport. I was born during that time. And my dad, I was his only son. I'm his only son. And he always had this thing about, if I have a son, I want him to follow my footsteps. So I never really had a babysitter, you know, or somebody to take care of me. I was always with my dad in the kitchen. Those times the kitchens were a little bit different from where they're at today. And we're talking about my dad doing fine dining. I fell into his footsteps, and, you know, went to culinary school, followed exactly what he was doing, but took it to the more modern chef and taking his ideas and actually making it to what I'm doing today.
Okay.
You know, so did do culinary school,
You didn't do
Yeah,
culinary school? You did? Okay.
I did culinary school. I learned some things there, but I learned more being in the restaurant
Right.
and really being in the trenches and getting my butt kicked. A lot of these cooks that were actually cooking for my dad at the time at the restaurants, they didn't believe in me. I didn't know how to flip an egg. I didn't know how to make a sandwich. I didn't know how to grind any meat. I didn't know how to make a vinaigrette. So a lot of these cooks are like, "Hey, man, you're not gonna make it. Like, might as well go. You speak English. You have papers. Why don't you go be a lawyer or something?"
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I know that.
And then I don't know. I just always had it like these memories with my dad. Award shows. Just talking in the car, this cooking stuff, and doing it together. I became obsessed with it. By the age of 17, when I graduated high school, I went to culinary school right away, and I was still working for my dad at that time. And I was like, I didn't realize I was already up, you know, up on the game. Like
Right.
food costs, I already knew it. Labor costs, I already knew what it takes to create a dish, not just making a pretty dish, but actually putting it together and writing menus. So I didn't know that everybody has like their strength in this industry. You know, it's not just about cooking. It's about talking to guests, finessing the food, writing menus, and doing everything. I just was really good at executing big banquets, and also writing menus.
Right.
Yeah, so it just all kind of transformed from there.
Okay, so your father, though, he started out in Beverly Hills
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah.
That was his first taste of cooking in Beverly Hills. How did he start cooking to begin with? Did he just start out in the restaurant cooking? I might have missed that, but go into that detail
So
real
it's a
quick.
crazy story. My dad came from Guatemala, so he's not even Mexican. Came from Guatemala. He was a valet parker there at the hotel in Beverly Hills. And one day, the owner of the hotel, the restaurant part, said, "Hey, I need cooks." Said, "I'll go learn how to cook and be one for an extra job because my sister was going to be born."
Okay.
And then my dad went ahead and took that position and fell in love with it. He fell in love so much that he became obsessed with it and wanted it, all this fine dining. Imagine growing up poor and not being able to make all this beautiful food at home. But here he is at a restaurant, the fine dining, the biggest caliber in Beverly Hills. So he asked the owner, he said, I really want to be a chef. I want to learn this. At that time, I mean, we're talking about, man, 70s. It was a whole different ball game. You would, those times was French chefs. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Caucasian, if you will,
Yeah,
chefs.
it wasn't
right.
And then you have a Guatemalan chef trying to make this filet mignon, but my dad was actually really good at it. He was better than the French chefs. He had a palate for it, and he finessed the food. He had the touch for it. So that's how I remember growing up. It was almost like my dad was like there was a point where tattoos weren't accepted, right? It's like, oh, I don't want that guy cooking for me. That time, my dad was like, oh, I don't want that guy cooking for me. But
Got
you know
it.
what I mean? My dad was really good at this execution and putting everything together and putting the menus together. So I wanted to follow my dad's footsteps as people were saying, you can't do it. Hell yeah, I can do it. My dad did it, and he ran 21 Oceanfront, the Beach House Corporation, and he did some big operations where it's really crazy where he'll run circles around these chefs today. The operation that I have is nothing compared to what he had at his time. And we're talking about now we have iPhones, internet at our fingertips,
Right.
recipes we can look up. Back then, you would have a yellow pad of paper, a kitchen phone to make your orders, and the library down the street. So now it's like being a chef back then was really hard.
Right.
And just my hat's off to him, but it taught me something because my dad used to always tell me, "Hey, Chris, you're born here, you speak English, you're educated, you're studied, you know all this, you grew up into this. Like, why don't you take it to the next level?"
Right.
So, I'm like, why not have a food truck? Why not have a restaurant? Why not cook at people's houses, give an experience? Like, why not go the extra? Or else I just would have been, and I'm not dogging on any just chefs that are just comfortable where they're at. Because if I could be comfortable where I'm at, I would, probably work at a cheesecake factory or something, get my salary, and I'll be good. But I like being out there. I like doing what I'm doing. I like being in the car, seeing different. I always post about the views where I'm at. Like, it could be an ocean view or a city view. It could be
Right.
a skyscraper view or, a park view where I'm cooking. It's really cool. You know about that.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about the food service industry for me. I love the different environments that we get to cook in. We get the opportunity to in the food truck game. We do studio
Yeah.
appearances. where we're doing different caterings in that regard. We're doing Pelican Hill, so
Wow.
like upscale, different areas. So and we get to corporate events, so we're definitely blessed to be in different environments. But real quick back. So your dad moved from Beverly Hills to Orange County,
Newport Beach.
Newport Beach, and then that's where you got your cooking started in Newport Beach,
Yeah.
Orange County, right? Talk about that.
I was born in Newport Beach, Orange County, but I really started cooking in Laguna Beach at the beach house in Laguna Beach. And back then, man, it was busy as heck. I mean, I started off as a dishwasher. Then for there, the prep guy didn't show up, so I had to learn how to prep. The salad guy didn't show up, so I needed to learn how to do salads, and then kind of move my way up the ladder. So I wasn't just given this position, so I just worked my way up, and it just kind of fell into me. I just, like, okay, well, the grill guy didn't show up. All right, let me jump on the grill. The sous chef didn't show up. Let me do the order tonight. Well, you need this for this event. Let me go do the event. I just always it was fun to me. I got to play in the kitchen. I got to meet different people every day. Not one day was the same. I got to actually in the restaurant. It's like a lot of competition,
Right.
and I always remember all those people, like those cooks that used to say, "Hey, man, you don't know how to cook. You don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know how to do it. I'll do it. I'll find out how to do it. I'll figure it out. I'm smart enough." So my dad taught me, "Hey, you're smart enough to do this stuff." So it just became like almost like a self competition for myself. It just kind of evolved from there, brother. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, yeah, what drove you to go from the dishwasher to an executive chef? And I do see, because like for me, being coming with a culinary arts degree or whatever into the restaurant industry, you get that pushback from the cooks. The cooks are like, look, I've been doing this for 15, 20 years, and you're not going to come in and think you're going to be my boss. You better show me what you got, because those cooks, they're tough, because at the end of the day, the customer's tough, the chefs are tough, the expectations are tough. So you have to produce in this industry. So that's what drives. The same thing when you were talking about being driven.
Yeah.
That's what drove me a little bit. Go ahead on that.
I remember right now you brought up a good point. Okay, so I graduated culinary school. I think I was like 19 years old. 19.
That's really young. That's awesome.
Then from there, I left the corporation, went to work for Mark Cohen in Opa and Aliso Viejo. Then they called me to go be the executive chef at the beach house Dana Point. Jimmy was there. And I remember being in the meeting.
Jimmy on the ones and twos.
Jimmy on the beat.
In the back.
So here he is. And then everybody's like, dude, this 20-year-old kid is going to be our executive chef at this big place? Like, what the heck? But it wasn't about just being the chef, like, oh, let me bark orders at people. It's about, okay, what's the new trend of food? Like, can you put a new hire packet into the computer? Like, that's when the cooks say, what does the chef do all day? He's in the office all day.
Right.
You know what I mean? No, there was like paperwork that had to be done. Like I was good at that. I was good at inventories. I was good at, hey, Mother's Day is coming up in 2 months. Like, what do you have for Mother's Day? Like, is lobster season going to be around that time? Or what is cool? What's the new trend? So that was my job to do all that. So I think I got that. I was ahead of my time, like 10 years. I had somebody say that 10 years ahead of my time. Being so young where I was in the kitchen and telling this guy that was there for 15 years, hey, can you please make this mango chutney? Like, I'm not making it. You're the chef, you make it. Like,
right. They wanna test you, right?
Yeah, and what does that tell me? Okay, well, move out the way. I don't need you. Clock out, go home, and I'll make it.
Right.
Yes. For instance, Savannah Chop House. I was 25 years old. 25, 26 years old. I was the executive chef. They signed me to do that one. Everybody's been there for, 15 years, 18 years, a grill guy. One day the grill guy's like, well, you're the chef here? Huh? He's like, yeah, right. Now we're best friends.
Right.
I remember Roberto, Roro, like, he's a good guy. I love the guy, but he was like, those cooks have that mentality. And then I remember he took the tongs and gave them to me. He said, you work the grill tonight. I'm sick. And I'm like, and he said it in a way like,
wow.
I'm by law, I have to take my sick time. Here you go. You execute tonight. So, And I only had one refire the whole night. They're like, when they came back, they say, hey, actually, he's pretty, he's seasoned. That guy knows how to cook.
Right.
So that's when you start making your mark in this industry. Like, oh my gosh, that guy's actually really good. Like, you won't know how good you are until you fail. And those failures is what makes you better at the end. Like, you don't know how many times I failed on the grill or making desserts or creme brulees, putting salt on creme brulees instead of sugar when I was a kid, like
right. Yeah,
stuff like that.
We've all done that, by the way, I'm sure. If it's not marked properly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that. You don't know how good you are until you try it. And then you fail, and then you have to do it again until you get it right.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, so 20 years old, you're an executive chef.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was that like, as far as what were some of the things that you were not expecting? Because I mean, I would think a 20-year-old is young.
Yes.
Very young. Did you feel like did you feel overwhelmed, or did you feel like, okay, I've been doing this so long under my father's leaderships and watching him, I got this?
At that point, I felt like I had to prove something to myself more than anything. Relationships, I mean, like, I would have a girlfriend, but she would go out on the weekends. I was busy on the weekends.
Right.
I had dinner rush. I had brunch was busy. So after dinner rush, I had to go home, shower, sleep, get ready for brunch the next day. So Sundays was shot where everybody was hungover.
Right.
I'm over there busy. I wouldn't be done until 6 o'clock. My days off were Monday and half Tuesday. So imagine, like, nobody's hanging out on Monday. Everybody's going to school or in college or doing something. I didn't have a normal 20-year-old lifestyle. I was busy working.
Right.
And that really, like, did something to me. I didn't realize how young I was until now. And I'm 37 years old now. And now I'm looking back. I'm like, hey, dude, like, a 20-year-old doing this? Like, what were we thinking? What was I thinking? Yes, I was overwhelmed. There was some nights I would go home and I would be in the bathroom. I would cry silently in the mirror, and I'll wipe my tears. Like, you got this. You wanted this so bad. Now it's in your hands. You got this. Wipe your tears. Does your dad cry? I never see my dad cry. So I was like, no, my dad never cries. He's my superhero. I got to do it.
That's
I got to
awesome.
make this happen. I'll walk out. My dad's like, you okay? Yes. It's just, as time progressed, I remember in this industry, and I got to talk about it, I think that's where, when I was younger, when I was 20, 21 years old, I got involved, drinking. So
Okay.
I started feeling, drinking took off the edge a lot. So I would drink, take the edge off and go to work again and not fuel it. And then it ended up becoming like, something like, go to work, execute, sip, bam, done. End of the day, sip again, boom, hooray, go home, done for the day, chill, go back to work. It just became like it just became this like other lifestyle. It just became a chef life.
Well, I think definitely, like, when you look at different chefs in the industry, different people in the industry, you look at like Anthony Bourdain's story, Kitchen Confidential,
Yeah.
where he talks about the lifestyle of a chef, and it definitely has its toxicity, if you will, where you're just going, and you need something to take you over that edge. So for you, that was alcohol. For Anthony Bourdain, that was different types of drugs. So it's definitely common in the industry where we're just going, and then we go out with the servers, we go out with the bartenders after the shift, and we're drinking and having a great time. That's the chef life, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely a habit that you end up, you don't live this normal life. It's like, while everybody's having dinner, enjoying, you're either working, and you won't have dinner maybe till later at night, if you remember. Right. I mean, I'm sure you've worked shifts where it's like, man, did I eat today? So
I had a shift like that the other day. I was like, yo, did I eat anything today? And you're just going, and you want to keep going, because you want to take care of the guests. You want to make sure that you're making money as well, right?
Yes.
That's part of being a chef and owning a business. You want to have some financial success in that. So yeah, I was doing that the other day. I was like, did I eat today? And then like 10:30, 11 o'clock is my first meal of the day. But you're not even hungry. You're just going through it.
Yeah, when you're stuck on go, I mean, it's you want to make sure everything's perfect. You're the last person to take care of yourself. Everything that's like the true chef life.
Right.
I mean, all this glory and everything that people see on Instagram. That's what the point of this podcast is. It's like just get in depth with chefs. Like, what do you feel sometimes? Like, hey, bro, is there anything in there? You know, like, is there a heart in there?
Nah.
You know, of course, a lot of chefs have a heart. Like, you have a lot of heart, my brother. I mean, you have some really big events. Like, how did you get in the game?
All right, so I started my love for food when I was a teenager. My parents were working a lot, so we were tasked with cooking. And I always saw my father as, just like your father was the example for cooking, my father was the example in my home for cooking. Because he would go to work, then he would come home, and then he would cook, mostly on the weekends. So on the weekdays, we had to cook, you know? So then I also went to the Marine Corps, and I cooked in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
So that was my first taste of, I would say, cooking on a large scale. So I went to the Marine Corps. Then I'm from New York originally. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm from New York originally.
I thought it was from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, exactly. So I'm from New York originally. So then after the Marine Corps, I decided I'm going to continue on with my culinary arts passion. And I went to cooking school in New York. I went to the New York Restaurant School. And then I cooked at a couple different restaurants in New York. I worked at a creperie in New York City. And that was a great time, you know, cooking in New York City, hanging out in New York City. Definitely a fun time. But I don't think I had the right perspective on cooking, because I went to a restaurant and the guy was like, yo, you're going to be peeling potatoes all day and we're going to pay you $8 an hour. That was in, let me see, that was probably in 1999, okay? Because I went to culinary arts school in 1998, all right? So he was like, yo, you're going to peel potatoes and that's what you're going to do. And I was like, nah, you know, I got to pay rent, you know? So, and then there was a chef who went to my cooking school. He was working at a fine dining restaurant, peeling potatoes and doing all that. And his name is Mike Isabella, okay? And he turned out to be top chef all-stars on TV and all that. So it really taught me, though, like later on, it's like you got to put in that time and dedication, you know? Fast money, easy money it might be nice in the beginning, but eventually you're not going to get that experience. So eventually I kept on cooking. And then I made it out here to California, and I wasn't a chef out here. I still was a cook. So I just worked my way up. I did some cooking at Disneyland. I did some cooking at P.F. Chang's. And you know what? What guided me through as far as my cooking experience is just passion and working harder than anybody. You know, anytime my chef asked me to stay late, I was always the one to stay. Anytime my chef asked me to work a double, I was always the one to work a double. Because I wanted to show everybody that I could work harder than anybody, because I was willing to put in the passion to get to the next level. So then eventually, though, after working at Disneyland, and then I worked at Yard House, so I did a lot of corporate kitchens. I decided to open up a food truck, and I started out with a juice food truck. And you know what? The juice food truck, people don't really want smoothies and juices, okay? That's just a fact. They want burgers. And somebody reached out to me with the burger truck, and they offered me the opportunity to buy the burger truck. And then Messy Burger's been doing great since 2019. I took over, and we just keep on progressing. I'm hungry for it. So I keep on, I keep up with my emails. I keep up with my Yelp reviews. And we just want to offer an experience that's a gourmet chef experience. I don't want to be like any other food truck out there. I really, truly want to offer the best food possible. So like you did a lot of fine dining, you know?
Yeah.
And And I think the thing with fine dining that people don't understand is like you have somebody, like I'll go back to the potatoes. Some of these fine dining restaurants, the French Laundry, why they're so expensive is because you literally have one cook who is peeling potatoes all day, who's doing brunoise all day. So I'm not going to say that we're offering that on the Messy Burger food truck, but we want to offer that type of quality on our food truck, and that's what I feel we're able to do in this food truck game.
I agree. I agree. So when I was doing all this fine dining, of course, uh, my first big break, 20 years old, the beach house, Dana Point, left in 2006, 2010. Left them. Then I started doing personal chefing for Ralph Hogan. And then I was his personal chef for about 6 months. And he's the one that really got me into marketing. And he was like, hey, Chris, you should really, really do something with your chef. You just don't just cook at my house.
Right.
Like, why don't you do events on the weekends? So he took me to his events. With West Coast Customs was my big event. And he started really putting me out there. And he's like, hey, you have the potential to be a big level chef. And I was like, you know what? You're right, brother. And left there after 6 months. I got bored cooking at somebody's house, but it was fun.
Right.
I learned something off of him. He does marketing. So I went into the nightclub scene, restaurant nightclub, got all these edgy style plates, which was fine dining, but edgy. Then went back into fine dining, Savannah Chop House, did an 80% increase in sales, then went off to Tortilla Republic. Then from there, of course, Temple Urban Kitchen, and then from there, Oak Laguna Beach. And, finally, I said, what am I doing opening all these places for other people making their money? I should really work on something myself. Saw the movie Chef, got inspired. And, here I am with my 2 little girls, my son, and, my wife. And I was like, dude, why don't I just open up the small taco shop and then also the food truck? I fell in love with the food truck, bro. Right. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down, bro. The food truck, I admire you, bro. I heard of Messy Burgers way before, and to me, it's like seeing all these big level names like Nostamo, Tasting Spoon, Messy Burgers. My man, how do I get to that level? How do I do it, bro? I'm cooking in front of a brewery selling $300. I'm having a great time doing it. Right. Don't get me wrong, but how do I be like at the fine dining? That was cool. Having a packed restaurant, a lot of people being in a magazine. Oh my God, that was cool. I already did it. But how do I get to the point where people are calling me for the food truck? What like instead of me putting my fishing pole out there, hopefully somebody calls. How do people just start calling me? So you're right about the quality of food and Taste Collective. When I did that, it was supposed to be a collective of menus. It's supposed to be tacos, burgers, quesadillas, enchiladas, bowls, sushi, everything, right?
Right.
Everybody wants the occasions for everybody, right? So here I am today, and it took so much hard work and so many failures, bro. Showing up late to an event because I forgot to put gas in the truck.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or not knowing there's going to be...
I've done that before.
You know what I mean? Or
propane.
Propane, or even not planning it right. Like, it's Wednesday morning anyway. It's still 10 o'clock. I can pick up the meat or whatever and cook it by 7 a.m. Yeah, right. The cook didn't show up or something. So it took a lot of planning and saying, hey, things can go wrong. You should have that 3 shifts ahead, like maybe the day before. So, everybody says, oh my gosh, Chris, you're at somebody's house, but then again, you're on the truck. Then again, you got a big event. It's like, I wanted to be like a Messy Burger. I wanted to be like a Chef Cow with the personal chefs. I wanted to still be that Chris Zorn with the fine dining. But, it took a lot of planning and a lot of failures, business partnered relationships that were failed. But, here we are today, and I'm able to talk about it on this podcast and tell my side of it. Yeah. People just see the Instagram and say, oh, this guy, here he goes again, showing off what he's doing. And I figured out is like, if you don't talk about what you're doing and post it, people think you're failing. But if you're posting and showing off what you're doing, people are saying you're showing off. I'm just showcasing what I did during the week. Like, I guess that's where I get those hater mentalities of people. Like, oh, he didn't post anything. He must be bad. Something bad must be wrong.
Right.
Or I post too much and people say, oh, he's just showing off. He's flexing. So I got to a point where I was like, hey, as long as you as my partner, Jimmy as my partner in this podcast, as long as we're having fun actually talking about the realness on this, people are going to get it. It's going to inspire that one person. You know what I mean?
Right. And I'm going to tell you. So that's how I got my desire or my thought process to follow you or partner up with you, I should say, because I started seeing you on Instagram, and I don't even know how the whole Instagram feed works where you get onto my I don't know what you want to call it, my feed or whatever the case. But I would see your videos, man. And at first I like, oh dude, who's this guy think he is, man?
Right? It's true.
With the hat. Cause my boy Chris over here, he always touches his hat. I was like, who's this guy think he is, man? But then I started to continue to follow and saw the food. And the food is amazing.
Thank you.
The personal chef experiences that you're doing, amazing. The food truck, I mean, I like to see the different things that you're doing on the food truck. One day, like you said, I've seen you do sushi. I've seen you do burritos that like this, huge burritos. So that I think is what sets you apart, and the way you market yourself is something that I can learn from. Definitely something I want to develop, and that's the thing too. When you're in the business, like how you talked about that one gentleman who you were personal chefing for, how he taught you the opportunity that you had. Fine, maybe you didn't continue on to be his personal chef.
Yeah.
But you learned from there, okay, I need to market myself. I need to develop myself in a different way. You know what I mean? And that's key to being in business, all the opportunities that come your way. Do you want to talk about that?
Opportunities. What I didn't realize that I don't want to say I was a negative person because I'm a happy guy, right? But it kind of just walked right past me, all these opportunities, right? I would wake up and be like, okay, I'm going to work. But I never really thought about, hey, I'm going to work, but what can I do today? Right. I started thinking like that, like, how can I make it better today? So when I saw opportunities, I started fishing for opportunities. When I was running the restaurant in Laguna Beach, I sent stuff to the hotels. They would send me guests. That's how I got my bonuses. The hotels would send me reservations. The food truck, I can go somewhere and drop off a business card and my menu to an apartment complex, and they'll call me. I don't have to go to a third party person to book.
Right.
Opportunities again. And then I meet people there. Going and doing a party of 15 guests on a Saturday, which is not 100 guests, but it lands me 200 guests on a Wednesday.
Right.
So opportunities have always been there. I never learned how to grab them into a certain part of my life. Business partners, friendships that I developed and everything, that's where opportunities started coming. I mean, this was an opportunity. Yes. How we became together. So what is your take on opportunities?
I mean, look, in any, first of all, the way that I got into this business was reading a book. You know, I read a book, the gentleman that I read, his name is Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a business person, and he always talks about just putting yourself out there. He uses a phrase called the barter system, where you do something for somebody and you might not get nothing out of it at first, but you're able to get some leverage out of it. And that's the thing that I see in business. You create opportunities by going out there, putting yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see opportunities. And look, I would not own the Messy Burger food truck. Is one day I had some juices and smoothies. I was making juices and smoothies, and I went up to the owners of Messy Burger food truck.
Wow.
And I just decided I'm just going to give them some smoothies because they were friends of mine, you know? And they said to me, hey, do you know anybody who wants to buy Messy Burger food truck? I said, all right, let me see what I could do. I talked to some people about the money that I needed. I needed $20,000, okay? And I didn't have $20,000. I had nothing close to $20,000. But I made a couple phone calls. I put myself out there and I asked somebody, hey, would you lend me $10,000? That person said, yeah, I'll lend you $10,000. No problem. It was like, wow. So, that's one thing you have to understand in business is like, just put yourself out there, get in business, and then start something, and then other opportunities will just open up for you. You know what I mean? It's been great for me, and opportunities keep on opening up.
Yeah, that's really inspiring what you're saying about, man, walking up to the burger truck with your two smoothies, and boom, there it is. There it
Yeah,
is.
I wasn't looking to buy the messy burger truck. I was just looking to be nice to somebody. I just wanted to give Jeff and Keisha. They were friends of mine. They were always nice to me. I mean, I had some extra smoothies. So here, mango banana smoothie.
You still remember like it was yesterday.
You know what I'm saying? Two mango banana smoothies. Here you go, And the rest is history, man,
If you don't take an opportunity, not all of them are 100 like this, right?
Right.
I mean, I've opened up exclusive with the guys. It was an opportunity. Our business relationship went sour. A lot of things happened internally, but I always thank Manny Velasco, because if it wasn't for him showing me the food truck game, I wouldn't be able to have what I have today, like the fun part of it. I was very miserable being stuck in a restaurant all day.
Right.
Like, really, like you have a guy with a mouthpiece on him, an image, but stuck behind a kitchen and just comes out every once in a while. Now with the food truck, I'm able to go out, meet people, do personal chef experiences, have time for my family, going back and forth. So it was an opportunity. And the other part, I don't see it as a loss. I see it as an opportunity. And we both went our own ways.
Right.
So God bless them. So I always see the positive out of every single outcome.
Did you learn something from it?
I absolutely did. I never had a chance to even tell Manny Velasco, hey, thank you, bro. I don't have bad blood against him, but I'm sure if he sees me, kind of, oh, hey, what's up? Right, you know what I mean? But yeah. I have this exclusive logo on me, and he has it on top of the restaurant. I'm sure he sees it every day. He thinks about me, But I think of the positive side. Like, God bless you guys. You guys are doing good, and I know I'm doing all right. I'm doing good.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
Yeah.
So out of in this industry, I hear a lot of cooks that leave a restaurant, they badmouth their chef and everything, and it's like, bro, were you part of that problem too, bro? Like, you gotta almost look at it like a counselor. Like, why did you leave the past 3 places you were at? Or the bartender that has that ego, the mixologist that's really good. They know they're good, but they just don't know how to treat the guests, and they're walking away from opportunities that they were at and badmouthing their restaurants. It's a trip, man. Like, it's crazy how even in the food truck game.
Yeah. Can I talk to you real quick? So when we're talking about opportunities too, real quick, I want to talk about so I was working at Disneyland and I had a great job. I was very comfortable at Disneyland, bro. Disneyland, when you work at Disneyland, it's one of those places that you're like, you could stay at Disneyland and Disneyland will not go anywhere. It's going to be, Disneyland will be there forever.
Yeah.
So if you want a job at Disneyland and you get in, you're going to have a job forever. So I was in Disneyland and basically I was a sous chef and, people were getting promoted around me, and then executive chefs would move from location to location. So I had a couple different bosses, and at a certain point, I felt like they're always gonna see me in the vision that they see me, in the box that they see me because of my performance. So I said to myself, look, I need to get out of this box to see if it's them or if it's me.
Exactly. I totally see what you're saying.
Yes, go. So I was like, yo, let me see if it's their perspective or if I'm just that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not at that level, So I went to Yard House and I was at Yard House, and that was Yard House is one of those restaurants where you have to be on the line. The chefs are behind the line providing support for the cooks. Okay, and that's not like that at Disneyland. At Disneyland, you're a chef, but you're doing a lot of paperwork.
Yeah,
You know what
no,
I
I
mean?
feel you.
You're doing
Yeah.
like a lot of projects. Okay, so but at Yard House, I was cooking and I was getting my butt kicked, bro. And I at one point, man, I had left Yard House. It was 2 a.m, and I was like, dude, what did I do, bro? What did I
Yeah.
give up at beautiful Disneyland to get my butt kicked at Yard House? So I'm on the line all day cooking burgers, and now fast forward to Messy Burger Food Truck, and we're jamming, bro. We're cooking burgers, we're cooking fries, we're doing all this stuff. And if it wasn't for that experience at Yard House, I would never be able to be where I'm at now with the Messy Burgers food truck, because all that experience that I got from Yard House was key, bro. Was a key opportunity to where I am now with my business and as a cook.
You know, I was going over that with myself. How do you say it? Self inventory?
Right.
You know,
Yes.
of what you did, what I did with my career. I'm like, where am I at? I was talking to my wife about this. I'm all, so I chose to do this life, you know, or what is my retirement plan? What is it? Is it going to be tattoos or what is it?
Right.
You know, as a consulting. And she's like, well, what did you do with your life? And I started thinking about exactly what you said. What set you up to where you're at today? Like every single job that I was at helped me to be where I'm at today. So the caterings out of Savannah Chop House and cooking at people's house, the personal chefing for Ralph Hogan got me into personal chef experiences where he used to say, where's the cherry on top, bro? And I used to be like, dude, this guy's annoying. You know what I mean? But like, bro, it's my wife's birthday. What are you going to do, bro? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what? I'll write a letter. But those things, you know, you write something and, you know, make something nice, you know, make something cool, that cherry on top. That taught me. A Savannah Chop House of fine dining, how to execute service with a writing everything down, you know what I mean? Just, and then, you know, even the negativity, people that didn't believe in me were like, hey, dude, I'm doing it now. Now, okay, why am I doing this? Okay, because I told myself I was going to be able to do this.
Right.
You know, so everything taught me where I'm at today in our careers. You're absolutely 150% right, bro.
Yeah. It's those steps, you know what I mean? So we're definitely blessed to be in this food truck game. We've done the restaurants. Now we're doing the food truck. What other things are you doing? I know that you got bottles of hot sauce
Yeah.
or something like that.
So this is what,
Yeah.
okay, so opportunities, right? That's what we're on today.
Yeah, no doubt.
So opportunities. So of course, the food truck, boom, that's my baby. I absolutely love the food truck. That gives me the catering kitchen. It gives me the where to store my stuff for the personal chef experiences. It's my go-to, right? So of course, the hot sauce that I'm working on with Shaka. Consulting with other businesses, other restaurants in the area. Don Juan, I'm finishing up that one right now. We're about to launch the menu in a couple of weeks. Jimmy's over there on the beat too, as well with me, right?
Yes.
So I wrote the beautiful
Jimmy
menu
on the ones and twos,
Yeah.
always taking care of the filming. I love it.
Right.
Thank you, Jimmy.
He's actually, Jimmy's my business partner in Taste Collective, where Taste Collective is not just a food truck. We also do restaurant consulting. Jimmy's doing the menu development and all that with them, menus, the design. But I have that project going. Here we're at Port in Newport Beach. Earlier you were here today.
Right.
We had to meet here today because we're opening this bad boy in the next couple of weeks. I mean, it's just breakfast and lunch spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, and then the food truck for dinner, and that's it. I mean, personal chef experiences, catering. So I got my hands in a little bit of things here and there. I mean, it's a lot of chefs, like their thing with chefs, like, I want to be that fine dining chef. Okay,
Right.
boom. Once you're there, I was already going to work in a Ted Baker suit, nice shoes, my VIP parking right in front of the restaurant. Like, I already did all that. Like, what I'm starting to find passion and happiness in is having projects where I'm seeing different people happy and doing my thing. Like hey, like today I'm gonna go cook at somebody's house, and then tomorrow I'm at the restaurant. Then I'm on the food truck. So I got my hands in a couple of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, my brother?
Me personally, bro, I really appreciate the food truck game because it gives me the quality of life that I want, you know?
Yeah.
To me, I used to work at restaurants and, like I said, be there till 2 a.m. And now with the food truck game, I really have that quality of life. So we're just doing the food truck right now. and I'm doing this podcast. You know, I thought I had the idea for a podcast, and I reached out to Chris because I wanted to partner with somebody who definitely had some influence in the food service industry. But this whole podcast thing is, I have a love for food. I love food. And I feel like Orange County, the restaurant scene in Orange County has blown up. You know, you could get, you know, I'm from New York, so New York is pizza, right? Pizza, Italian food. Yo, there's some great pizza out in Orange County. There's some great Italian food in Orange County. There's great industries. There's great seafood in Orange County. There's great steakhouses in Orange County. So now with this podcast, I feel like, first of all, we're going to interview chefs. We're going to interview mixologists. We're going to interview servers, and we're going to build that audience. But eventually, I want to get into the restaurants and really talk to the owners of the restaurant, really talk to the chefs of the restaurant on how they started in the game, how they started their business conglomerates in some aspects. There's some conglomerates in Orange County, and I want to get deep into that. So to answer your question, I'm doing the food truck, and I'm definitely involved in this podcast on a big level. I gotta get our boy Two Chilies, right?
Two Chilies.
Two Chilies. He's doing your bottles, right?
Yep.
We got to get that brother on the podcast. What do you say we do episode 2? What do you think about it? What do you think of
episode 2? Yes, definitely. And then maybe something with Chef Brandon, that he's opening his new spot.
Okay. Now,
yeah.
Wait. What's his ship? Was it Chef Brandon Hall?
Yeah, Chef Brandon Hall. And then also, I like the cake guy, Daniel. Cakes by Daniel. He's amazing.
We got to get him on the podcast. So
maybe some pastries on here. Maybe a little bit of, I want to give a little bit of a variety, my brother. You know what I mean?
Yo, you got tattoos all over, so we definitely got to do something in a tattoo parlor somehow.
Yes, that topic on the tattoos. I was tattooed. My arms were done. Everything else was done way before. Like, it was cool.
Right.
I remember trying to go get a job at the Montage, and they told me no, I could not. They said, I'm so sorry.
Were you all tattooed up on your arms?
Yeah, my hands were done, and they said no. So, but yes, I can't wait till we talk about this stuff at the tattoo shop. Now it's cool. Now it's the thing. Like, you don't got tattoos. How good of a chef are you?
Right. Okay, I gotta get my tattoo. I've always wanted a knife here.
He might get, let's chop it up.
Let's chop it up right here, tattoo. So we definitely have great plans.
Maybe a female chef in the house.
Oh, we definitely got to have those female chefs because, they are bringing it, man. They are definitely bringing it in the industry. We want to encompass the whole food service industry, and we definitely want to promote great brands like Rockstar. I got True Cooks on right here, the avocado shirt. We definitely want to promote the food service industry on a whole. You know what I'm saying?
That's what everybody's out. I mean, I look at it like this. If you're in fine dining or at-home cook, you're still waking up and grinding for somebody. Like, you're still worried that you're going to have to execute a service, whether there's 100 people behind you or just you and your sous chef.
Right.
Like, no matter what, we're all in it to win our bread and butter at the end of the day, feed our families, ourselves, and to have satisfaction of being a chef. So that's what this podcast is about, to give shout outs to everybody that's out there doing their thing and actually, grinding. Just because you don't have this award that they're doing every year or whatnot. I mean, I rather have self-satisfaction, like saying that, hey, people are happy to see me, people love my food, than to, than to have, anything else in the world,
No doubt, man. I mean, look, I got a great compliment yesterday. We did a studio event. And somebody comes up to me after the event. He was like, yo, I can't lie. In-N-Out used to be my favorite burger.
I love that.
All right, brother. So he was like, yo, that messy burger was the real deal. I think you might got In-N-Out beat. And, In-N-Out, shout out to In-N-Out, man. We don't want to talk bad about a big industry like that, but you know what I'm saying?
They're good.
But we're putting out good quality product here at Messy Burger. You know what I'm saying? So, that it feels good that you're doing food the right way. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean? And it might be just a food truck Some people might look at it as just a food truck, but we want to be that food truck that's doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? And you
I
do
agree.
too, man. And I've seen your product, so shout out to you and everything
Thank
you're
you,
doing.
my
You know what I'm
brother.
saying?
Appreciate it.
Yo, so that's episode that for me. That's you got
Yeah,
anything else?
I think that's it. Just shout out to everybody out there in this industry. Even who doesn't get the biggest props are the general managers. All the chefs get all the props.
That's right. That's
so
right.
just shout out to them. We got to get a general manager out there on the podcast one day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's about it. That sums it up. Much love, everybody, to Chef Chris Tzorin at Let's Chop It Up. And Jay,
I'm Jay Aviles. Let's chop it up. Peace.
Peace.